Is a veteran voice actor and a teacher who's listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most prolific video game voice actor in the world. And I'm going to lift off some of his credits, and that'll take me about 20 minutes, half hour, then I'll bring him on. But it could have been. I keep meaning to do his whole list. So I'm going to run off some stuff you've heard and some stuff you've never heard of before, and we'll see how much he remembers. All right, make some noise for Cowboy Bebop, Call of Duty, Digimon, Naruto, Wolverine and the X-Men, Big O, Tom of Tsunami, Transformers Prime, Mass Effect, Spectacular Spider-Man, Warhammer 40K, Total War 2, Rapunzel's Second Adventure, Mortal Kombat Injustice, and of course, the incredibly undervalued Giant Robo. Please welcome Steve Blum! One-fifth of your resume.
I can't even hear that frequency. That was amazing.
Me too, so. Bro.
Hi, everybody.
Hope you had a good weekend here in Ocala, I hope.
Had a great weekend. Thank you to hardy survivors. I'm glad we all made it through. I've met most of you, I think, now. This is awesome.
Very good. So, well, first of all, how have you been? Haven't seen you in about a year and a half, something like that, so.
I've been good. Yeah, I've slowed down my travel schedule a little bit since I moved to Hawaii, so I think I had just gotten there when I had last seen you.
Yeah.
At least built my house anyway, so yeah, it's a little bit harder for me to get to these places, but.
So are you on the main island or one of the?
I'm on the Big Island.
The Big Island.
So most people don't go to the Big Island. It's the island of Hawaii. It's the one with the volcanoes. So we actually have an active volcano right now. It started erupting as I was leaving, so. Yeah.
My knowledge of Hawaii really only comes from old Hawaii 5-0s. Oh. The original, not that new version. I'm not against that, whatever, too. And a little bit of Magnum PI. So.
Yeah.
And of course the Brady Bunch two-parter episode.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different kind of con.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, in case anybody doesn't know it, because I actually love hearing this, and again, your career's lapped 3 or 4 times. Let's go back to the very, very beginning. How did you fall into this? Because I think it is an interesting story. And I was talking to Sonny and the other guys about how it wasn't even the back door. Everybody, your generation of voice art came in through a side door that nobody knew existed.
Yeah, I came in through the basement.
Yeah.
Actually, I was working at a film studio. I was a driver and a mailroom clerk at a studio called Full Moon. Well, back then it was Empire Entertainment. We made movies like Reanimator and Ghoulies and things like that. So
Ghoulies, yeah, they'll get you in the end.
Yeah, exactly, the one that came up through the toilet. That was where I was working. So I did that as my day job. I was a musician at that time. I was playing in an R&B band, and so I needed something to pay the bills since I was the only one with a job in a band. And I had the truck, so I had to haul all the equipment, so I had to finance that somehow. So I was working in this mailroom, and the head of the mailroom, a guy named Vic Garcia, was casting for a Japanimation show. And all I knew about Japanimation at that time was, Speed Racer and stuff. And so I said, I'm not really interested. And everybody else in the building went, yeah! Everybody in Hollywood was an actor, except for me. I really didn't care. I didn't even like actors. And so he said, well, you've got the deepest voice in the mailroom. We need somebody who can do a creature. And I went, oh. Thanks, God. Uh-huh. All of us? Okay, Chad. You heard it. Get over there right now. Okay, anyway, so he wanted me to come in and audition. I said, I'm really not interested in doing that. And I said, well, what would it entail? And he goes, well, before I tell you what it entails, you get free pizza. And I went, okay. Because I was literally a starving actor. Or starving musician, sorry.
First you had my interest, now you have my attention.
Exactly. So he brought me to the studio, and they called it The Cave. And it was literally a studio in a treehouse that backed up onto the side of a mountain. They carved out like a little cave on the back of it. Terrible studio. It was not soundproofed. It was for rock and rollers. The guy was out of his mind. He was hanging from his knees, cutting tree limbs while we were recording. Anyway, so I go up to the microphone. There's like 25 other actors there. I wasn't an actor. I was the only non-actor. And I just see him going up to the microphone and watching the screen, and we didn't have beeps. For those of you who are familiar with dubbing, these days, digitally, we have like 3 beeps, and then you're supposed to start on the imaginary fourth beep. We didn't have any of that. We had time code if we were lucky, and we had to be able to read that. In that case, we didn't even have time code yet.
Yeah.
The director tapped me on the shoulder when I was supposed to start speaking and try to match the lip flaps. But I could roar. I could do that kind of stuff. So he said, all right, so for this first scene, we're going to audition you. You're going to be playing a character called a zoonoid, and you're going to be ripping the arm off of another one and beating him to death with it. And I went, oh, I can do that, sure. And I look at the screen, I just see this action happening. And he said, what would that sound like? And I just looked at him and went, I don't know, maybe like... And he goes, all right, you're hired. And I went, what? My first question was, do I still get pizza? It was literally, they were hiring people on the spot, and so they paid us $7 a line. This is a show called The Guyver. They paid us $7 a line, and they ended up giving me speaking roles in that too, and I ended up playing the main bad guy. And I never stopped working for these people. This whole group of people decided that they were going to try to get anime dubbed in America, and we got so much hate mail, and I went to my first convention, and I had my life threatened from the Ocala.
And when you say hate mail, you mean mail.
What was that?
You mean actual mail, like
mail.
stamp mail, yes.
Yes, like snail mail,
yes,
with a stamp and everything. Yeah, but I had people sitting outside of my house and threatening my family. It was really bad. It was scary. And so I thought, well, this is not something I can really do. And they said, well, nobody's going to watch this stuff. You don't have to worry about it. And at that time, it was only available on VHS, on tapes. And it was like $85 for an episode or 3 episodes. It was super expensive. So it was a very small community that really participated in that. And I thought, all right, if I can just get past that hump, I'll just do it for fun on the side. I'd make, $50 on a show or something. And I thought, this is a great pastime. I really like the people I'm working with. And I never stopped. I just enjoyed doing it. And later on, I stayed with that same film company. 14 years later, I was an executive at the company. I was head of marketing, had a corner office in Hollywood. And I hated going to work every day because I just didn't like the people in the film business.
Yeah.
And in my band, I hated the music business too. It was just a bunch of really cruel, awful people. But the only thing I really enjoyed was voiceover and the community of people that I developed, my new extended family. And so I kept doing it, and I just vowed that I'd just do everything that I had to do to support that habit. It was just fun.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, years later, I got a good agent. I actually learned the craft. And it worked out, and here I am. I never planned any of this. So thank you guys for supporting all the work. I really appreciate it. I literally would not have a career without you. So.
No, I threw this earlier. My catchphrase is getting into voice acting in this facet to it. It's like getting into Narnia. Nobody gets in the same way twice.
True.
So that's very true. And again, you were working in the magnetic tape days.
Yes.
So, and again, no time codes, no this. Cut and pasting literally meant cut and pasting.
Yeah.
So laborious was too. What's been the biggest change that you've noticed in the evolution of animation and voice acting from your perspective?
Well, that was certainly one of the big ones back then. In fact, when we would leave room, if they wanted to do a take that they were cobbling together from 2 pieces, they literally had to use a razor blade, like you were saying. So we would always, the phrase is still, leave a razor blade so that we can cut and paste.
Yeah.
But now we do it all digitally. So that was the biggest, most profound change, I think, back then. Now the big change is AI. So that's the big looming threat. But we're getting protection against it. We've voted it into contracts for the union. So yes, thank you.
Please.
And the National Association of Voice Actors actually has an addendum that you can download for free. And you can add it to your contract. It'll give you some legal protection against it too.
Good.
But for me, the greatest change of all is that I get to work from home. We used to have to go into studios. I would do an audition, and they would mail the audition or send it by courier, and it would take a week to get to the casting person. Now we have an hour to get an audition done. So I actually have a portable studio that I bring with me. I was recording in my hotel room last night, and it's a good enough studio now where I record for broadcast. But because of COVID mostly, we've all found ourselves working from home. I've always had a home studio, but it's always been a closet. So if you are voice actors working in a closet, don't worry, you can actually make a living doing that. It's kind of cool.
And again, so many everybody else was converting closets and spaces under the stairs or something into makeshift studios, and it worked.
It works great. But now I was able to, because of COVID, I was working from home for 2 years. So I sold everything I had. My wife sold everything she had. We moved to Hawaii and took a chance and built a house there. And now I built a beautiful acoustically designed studio. So my studio is equal to or better than most studios in LA these days. And I keep upgrading my equipment and learning how to use it too. So it's great. I am free finally. I never go into studios, other people's studios, unless I absolutely have to.
Sure. And I'm sure occasionally there's a need for that.
Not really.
Not really?
I've done one session in the last 4 years in another studio, and it was only because I happened to be in LA visiting my family.
Okay.
And they had a job that came up at Warner Brothers, and they asked me if I could go onto the lot.
Well, Disney was famous for this. They would bring everybody in to do just one session, just like to have them all there, and then they would record them individually. So like, oh, here's all the actors doing the lines, but it's just a one scene, and then okay, everybody go home. You come back tomorrow. You come back Tuesday.
Pretty much, yeah. They still do that to some degree.
Yeah. It's just like basic promo shots.
I gotta say, I do miss the days though when we were working on shows like Star Wars Rebels or Transformers, where we had the whole group together.
Yeah.
And that's how we really bonded. We made lifelong friendships out of that.
Ensemble animation work is just so enviable when you got that opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
And not everybody, even a veteran such as yourself, it was pretty rare.
Yeah, it is, and these days it is. But we do work together as groups sometimes on Zoom. It's like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
We have to be careful not to step on each other and stuff. But it's a little bit harder to make those relationships as deep as they are now, unless we come to conventions.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I love coming to conventions, because I get to meet you guys, I get to hear your stories and how this stuff affects you that we shot in a little rubber room somewhere. And I get to see all my buddies and make new friends too.
Yeah.
I got to meet Kate Sackhoff at this one. That was so cool. It was really great. And I'm still a fan too. So to come to these things and to meet these people who I've been following for a long time is still super exciting for me.
No, absolutely. Again, in convention travels, you ever met a celeb who like either fawned over you, or maybe they're like, oh, my kid loves that character you do. Can you one of those moments?
That does happen from time to time, and it's always surprising to me.
Yeah.
For me, it's more seeing the people that I've been following. Like I got to meet Paul Williams a couple of years ago. For you kids, you probably have no idea who he is, but look him up. He's one of my heroes.
He's only won every award in entertainment possible.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah, and he was sitting there at his table, and hardly anybody was coming up to him, and I went, why are you not completely swamped? You are legendary. So for me, that's the best thing.
And he's a sweetheart.
Oh, what a nice man.
I've sat with him several times.
He was on his way out of the con, and he actually dropped everything and told his crew, hold on, I need to have a conversation here. And we actually had this great conversation, kind of bonded. It was really cool.
Oh, wonderful.
I told him I used to watch The Love Boat with my parents. So we know all of his music and his whole life story. It was cool.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you still teaching?
I am. I'm teaching at bloomboxstudios.com, where you can learn to be a voice actor. Yes, thank you for asking. I've been doing that for about 8 years. Started the school because coming to conventions, everybody wants to become a voice actor. Everybody is told they have a good voice or whatever, and they don't realize how hard it is to get in.
Yes.
And all of these predatory companies started popping up that are very happy to take your money and make you a lot of promises that just aren't true. And so I found myself finding teaching moments at every convention, at panels like this and at my table. And the people around me just said, start teaching. And I didn't know the first thing about it, so I had to deconstruct 30 years of working in the business and figure out a way to impart that knowledge. And so now I start bringing in all of my best friends to do it, who are the greatest actors in the world, and casting directors and engineers and everything that you would need to know in the industry. And we've had almost, I think it's close to 110 classes now, 250 hours of content. And we're charging what I needed to charge to pay my people. I haven't taken a salary since the start of the company. I really did do this to give back, but with the current financial situation and political situation in the world, we decided it'd be a good time to just drop the price as low as we can. I was trying to sell the company, nobody could buy it. So we dropped the prices down, and it's $25 a month now for all of that content, no matter when you come in. And we do a live class every month. And we've got insanely talented, gifted teachers who come in, and a lot of people who come in don't normally make appearances like that.
Right.
So I put you guys in front of the best of the best.
What's the core of the first lesson?
Pardon me?
What's the first lesson? What's the summary of the first lesson?
I don't remember what the first class was exactly. The first 30 classes were the core classes,
Okay.
which were really about the inner game, which is what a lot of teachers don't pay any attention to. It's how to negotiate the negativity, the negative voices that you hear in your head from yourself and everybody around you. Like my parents told me, voiceover is not an option for a career. You're an idiot for doing that. You need to go into medicine or something that makes sense. And I just kept saying, this is what makes me happy. I don't care if I make money at it. So I start there. And also how to handle rejection and how to handle fear and negotiate all that stuff. Then I start going into the skill sets of cold reading and microphone technique and all of the other stuff that you need to know. So the first 30 classes were lecture style, where it was just all the foundational stuff.
Sure.
And then I started talking to everybody else about their path and their ideas and their warm-up and cool-down exercises and the gear they use and how they manage their struggle. We talk about mental health. We talk about healing, using the body as a whole instrument and treating it as such. A lot of stuff that you just don't get in a regular voiceover or acting class.
Yes. Well, again, thank you for being so generous with all this experience that you've accumulated over the years. And again, somebody who's kind of been outside of the bubble of the traditional acting path.
Yep.
So you've got that perspective.
I try to stay away from that. I was raised around Hollywood. My first job was working in Hollywood at my grandfather's bookstore. So I've been around celebrities my whole life and around that Hollywood lifestyle, and I've seen it crush people.
Yeah.
And I did everything I could to stay out of that section of it. I never intended to become famous.
Yeah.
And now when I see people misbehaving who are famous, I don't want anything to do with them. I'd rather hang out with people who are much less famous, who are authentic, and are just nice people. And that's how most people in the voice acting industry are.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're teaching legitimate nuts and bolts.
Yes.
As opposed to artistry, and that's nothing against that philosophy. But yes, you can go to study theater at the theater school and stuff like that and learn a lot of great stuff to it, but you're focused.
Well, and I recommend that people do if that's what works for them, because everybody has a different way of learning too. And I am not an academic mind, I am more of an organic learner. And so my technique is a lot more organic. But if I find somebody that really likes to overthink things or process things, or they need time to really be analytical, I will say, go to a traditional acting class. Learn the learn Meisner, learn all the different techniques if that works for you.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to limit themselves, and I actually refer people to other teachers too, who are technically my direct competition.
But like I said, something. You know what? I think your energy would jive with this guy. You know. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, I think that's very magnanimous of you. Like you said, there's some fly-by-nights organizations that'll just keep taking the money. And you're doing great. You're doing wonderful. Remember, AEIOU. We'll see you next week.
Well, and they'll say things like, you do this for a year and you're going to make 6 figures. No, you won't. Probably not. And that's okay. But you have to know what reality is before you get yourself into that. So
and what's that website again?
BlumVoxStudios.com.
Okay.
It starts with my last name, BLUM, Vox, VOX Studios.com. And we've got a QR code at my table and stuff.
Awesome.
But there's also a free masterclass if you're just curious about voice acting and you don't want to get into it, or you're not sure if you want to pay to do acting classes. Check out the free masterclass. It's in 6 bite-sized pieces, and it'll give you some of the foundational stuff and dispel a lot of the myths about the industry too. Thank you for letting me talk about that.
No, of course, man.
Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you guys. I know you want to hear weird voices. Don't worry, I can do weird voices for you too.
No, but out of everything. What's one of the projects that you wish got a little more love and attention?
So many.
I know.
Man,
there's so many that do.
So many that just died before their time or didn't get a fair shake.
Besides Giant Robo, of course.
Megas XLR is one that a lot of people didn't know. Oh, it's got some Megas fans. Nice.
Chicks dig giant robots. Nice.
There is a show called Kipo in the Age of Wonder Beasts. Beautiful, beautiful show. Did not get enough. Thank you. for the 2 people who've seen it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful show, right? Yeah, I love that show. There's so many. I mean, just go down my IMDb and half of them did not get the recognition they deserve. But there's a lot of these shows out there that really were ahead of their time, or they just didn't find their footing because the distribution companies didn't deem it worthy.
And weirdly enough, there are some that had heat on it, but when it's gone, it's kind of evaporated, which is something I've noticed now about modern fandom. It's like it only lasts when the show is on, and when it concludes, it doesn't linger as much, and then and it bounces back like several years later. Like I'm waiting for Big O to get a resurgence.
That's a great example. It sort of has, though. In the last couple of years, a lot of people are coming to the table now with Big O merch and stuff, and it disappeared for a really long time. So something must have happened out there. I don't know if they re-released it. I see head nodding. Yeah. I love that show. It was super fun. I had no idea what was happening, especially at the end.
Yeah.
It made no sense, but I didn't care. It was like Batman with giant robots. It was super cool.
And it was. And the weird, everybody, go check it out. It's a mystery.
Big O, showtime.
And it's one of those early sort of concept shows where it's like, it's a guy with a giant robot, but it's a very peculiar setting.
Yeah.
Very peculiar.
Memory issues. Yeah.
Yeah, so do we too. So, what's at this point, if you even consider this at all, is there still a dream gig? Is there a mountain that?
Yes.
Besides Ocala Comic Con.
Comic Con, that's the dream gig right there.
You're here. You made it.
I've never worked on a Miyazaki film, and I would love to work on a Miyazaki film. I think that'd be super fun if he stays around and keeps making them. Just one, even if it's a bit part, it'd be super fun. Just because I love the artistic value of that, and it probably would pay a lot less than the shows I'm working on now, and I don't care. It'd be super fun to do that.
Do what I love.
Yeah. Anything in Star Wars. I'm still a Star Wars fan since 1977, so if they include me in anything there, I will still squeal like a little fangirl.
Like I said, again, you're the prolific work in the video games, but Rebels came around and I saw that character, and right away I was like, that's the original design for Chewbacca.
Yeah, it is. And I have that action figure. They actually made the action figure.
Yeah.
It's like a hairy version of Zeb.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, as always, thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. Before I go out there taking their questions, on behalf of everyone, bro, as always, I want to thank you. I thank you for your talents, your professionalism, all these performances, and being willing to teach and share all these insights and your experience points.
It's my honor and privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for always being a great. If you have not said thank you to this man, please say thank you to this man before the weekend's out. I see him all over the country, and he's just a genius and wonderful at what he does.
Me too. I just fell like you fell into that. I fell into this.
Yep, it's great.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Y'all know the rules. You get one question, all that stuff too. It's like, all right. I always tell them no voice requests and stuff like that.
I don't care.
You can let them out of your caprice.
I don't care. Whatever.
All right.
I'm here. It's Sunday.
All right. all right. So you can ask a favorite line or whatever, but don't ask them to sing or dance or any of that.
Yeah. Or remember any quotes, because I'm really bad at that. I might know a few, but
I like. What's your favorite line? It's like,
I don't know. Which episode?
Yeah, exactly.
741.
Yeah, that ain't gonna.
3 minutes in. Do you remember? No.
All right, Chief. What's your name? What you got?
My name
It was a good shirt, by the way.
Hey, whatever happens, happens. But you have so many revered works, so many things that you're a part of. The question was kind of asked near the ending there. But if you could be part of one of your works again to kind of bring back, it could even be something like having a prequel to the show or anything like that. Maybe something like
what's a property you'd love to see brought back?
Oh, a property brought back?
Yeah, something roll. Yeah.
Oh man, if we could have continued Spectacular Spider-Man as Green Goblin, I love Green Goblin. I love Green Goblin. That was super fun. Or if we could have finished Wolverine and the X-Men, that would have been nice. So we had 9 more episodes written, ready to go. Just didn't have. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Spectacular. That's one that if I had to pick from your list, I would say I wish we had gotten more.
Yeah, that was a great show.
That was great. Hey, what's your name? What you got? Oh.
My name is Francis, and I'm actually curious about a teaching or a moment where you were kind of acting in that mentor role for an up-and-coming voice actor. What's kind of a memory that stands out from a teaching perspective for you?
Could you repeat that?
So is there a moment when you as a teacher, your experience as a teacher, that you had a moment that relates to you, that you felt like, oh wow, I made a difference?
Oh, there have been so many moments. I have a student named Heath Martin, who is a dad. He's got a bunch of kids. And, everybody comes up with excuses of why they can't do the thing that they love to do. And Heath is an example of a person who has really been through it. He was a hip-hop guy, and he decided to take on voice acting at a more advanced age. He's not old by any means, but he's a dad with a lot of responsibilities and a lot of complications in his life, and he pushed through this thing, and he's killing it out there. He works harder than anybody I've seen so far, so I'm just really proud of him. It's really cool to see what he's doing out there in the world. But so many of my students crack through things. There was another student that I had who was in the process of transitioning male to female, and was able to do a super authentic male voice and a super authentic female voice and switch between the two like it was nothing. And they were saying that they were really worried about getting into the industry because they didn't know if anybody would accept them as they are. And I said, you have a superpower. You have no idea how valuable this is. And they're also killing it out there in the world. So I love those kinds of moments. It's amazing to me to see people just break through something that seems like an impenetrable wall.
Great question.
Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. An awesome beard. Can I have half of it?
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Matthew. Okay, before I say my question, I really love your role as Roger Smith from The Big O, and I also like your work for Grasshopper Manufacture. I thought you were really good with that. I'd like to ask, is there any, was there ever a time where you were offered to, where you wanted to, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Take a breath. It's all good. We all go through this all the time.
Was there a time you were reluctant to take some kind of role or whatever, but you ended up liking it a lot?
Oh, sure. Okay. Interesting. Yes. Well, I wasn't reluctant to take the role, but once I started working on, I think it was Baraka from Mortal Kombat, the very first line was, I was thinking, oh, this is just going to be bad. And so I lasted about 2 hours. And fortunately, in the first incarnation of Baraka, I got through the lines because they were pretty short. Most recent incarnation, he's saying entire paragraphs. So now I'm just kind of going, oh, this is so brutal. It hurts so bad, but it's so cool. When you see the final product, it's so much fun to watch. Venom is another great example, which is that same similar voice print. It hurts so bad, but it's so worth it. Tank Dempsey, another one, where he's always like this, Tank, this is his inside voice. But it's so great. The lines that they write for him are so great. So I don't really regret anything, honestly. That's one thing I've learned in my old age is I have no regrets. Even if I've made mistakes, they kind of build on to who I am now. And I really only walked away from 2 projects in my whole career. And one because it was a really foul hentai and I didn't know what I was walking into, and they didn't tell me until I was about 20 minutes in, and which I have no problem with, but it was abusive to young people, and I'm not okay with that. And there was another situation where it was a really big game franchise. I really was excited about working on it, but I walked in, and we're supposed to do 3 voices typically, and I walked in, they said, well, we've got 26 characters for you, but we want you to do all of them within those 3 voices. And I said, I'm not going to do that. The fans are going to hate me, and they're going to hate you for making me do that. So gave them 26 voices. I was booked for 14 more sessions, and I canceled them all and walked away. So those are the only times that, I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah. Okay, thank you.
Great one, thank you. Hi, what's
Great
your name?
cosplay too.
Hi, I'm
I thought that looked familiar. Very cool. Hi.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I first learned of you as Zeb from Rebels and Starscream, actually, and I have been following your work for a little while. but my question for you is, I know you've been multiple voices in Digimon, but if you were Digi-destined, what Digimon would you want to choose?
Oh, wow.
I think I'd always go back to Guilmon.
I love Guilmon. That's one of my favorite characters of all time. I love that. Yeah. It was just sweet and innocent. It was the only thing I could allow my kids to watch when I was doing that at that time.
Thank you. If you have Guilmon bread, tell Takatoman, okay?
So hey, we got a long line, but I think we'll get through it. So it's I'm gonna ask your name, go ahead and say your name, and go and jump right into your question. If you want to tell them about your history with him, you can do that at his table. Sound good? Okay. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Gabby. Looping back around to stuff that kind of got cut off before its time, would you ever go back to voicing Space Outlaw if Bee and Puppycat returned from the war?
If they allowed me, I would do that in a heartbeat. I had no idea how cool that show is. I haven't seen it, but I've seen little excerpts from it. And the way it moved people, I would love to be part of something like that again. It was really cool. Thank you for loving that. And you look amazing too.
Come on.
Spiko, so good. You
What's your name?
It's Jack. All right. So my question for you is, when it comes to taking care of your voice, is there anything you do that prevents like any kind of damage, or is there anything you like watch out for? Like obviously, don't do like tobacco or drink like heavy whiskey or anything like that. But yeah, like is there anything you do to keep your voice like healthy, make sure there's no damage to it? And yeah, Timber. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, to your question earlier, I actually did 2 or 3 classes on just that thing. First thing, get lots of sleep. It's very underrated. You need your sleep to recover because you're rebuilding tissue that you may have damaged in the process. Hydration, like you were saying, you don't want to drink coffee, you don't want to drink milk, those kinds of things, soda, anything with sugar, that kind of stuff can really ruin your throat. If you go to the booth, you're going to be all dry and you're going to potentially damage yourself. So water, room temperature water, not ice water, which is what all Chinese medicine recommends also. And then in terms of recovery, it really is just rest. If you find that you injure yourself, you have to rest and recover. And sleep really helps you to do that, to rebuild all of that stuff. There's a million other things, breathing techniques. We did a whole class on breathing. Taking care of your body, eating right actually is very underrated too. You just can't stuff yourself with a bunch of junk food and expect to be able to perform, at high levels. So you have to think of your voice as a whole body instrument too. So if I gave you any more than that, it would take up the whole rest of this time. But you can go to BlueFoxStudios.com and it's in the first 5 classes I did, or something like that. Thank you. See you, Space Cowboy. Arr, how are ya? Good.
All right, we are gonna get through this line. I am closing off the line though, so this is gonna be it. So I'm gonna ask nobody to jump
Okay,
on.
we can do it.
We can absolutely do it. Hey, what's your name? What you got?
I'm Jack, and my question is this. As a voice actor, what is the best way to market your voice to big companies like Nintendo, for example?
To market your voice? Well, if you're going to be going after the big company things, you kind of need an agent for that. Most of the big AAA companies will not even consider an actor unless they're represented by somebody. Nintendo, you don't necessarily have to be in the union, but most of the other big companies you do. And so you'd have to have an agent, you'd have to be in the union, you'd have to have a demo, so you're going to be working at a pretty high level. So they will not just accept blind submissions. You have to take your time and do it incrementally.
You gotta go in the other fields and become so good they can't ignore you.
Yeah, that's the thing, just get good. Like Steve Martin said in his masterclass, get good.
Get good, yeah.
That's how you do it.
There you go. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Sam. And
Hi, Sam.
I was wondering, what do you remember about voicing Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War 1? And how long was production until you eventually stopped?
Very little. I remember so little about that. That was at a time where I was doing probably 6 or 7 sessions a day. I walked into that room, they threw some paper in front of me, I read the lines and I walked out and I never saw it again. So I really don't have much memory of that at all. Sorry if that's a disappointing
tried.
answer. That's the way a lot of these games are though.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Nadia. Greetings. What is your favorite fruit?
My favorite food? Oh, today?
Fruit.
My wife has been baking sourdough bread lately, and she's been making like every flavor imaginable. So today it would be sourdough bread. Tomorrow it would be something else.
Okay. What's your favorite fruit, if you have one?
Oh, fruit? Is that what you said?
No,
I couldn't.
No, it's fine.
I have old man ears.
Sourdough, yeah, sourdough is good too.
Yeah, my favorite fruit this week is probably papaya. I live in Hawaii, and so we get a lot of fresh fruit there, and so tomorrow it might be something else. It might be mango tomorrow, I don't know. Apple, bananas, yeah. Hi.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Kyle.
Hi.
What's your favorite role that you look back finally on?
Whatever I'm working on tomorrow, because I'm still employed. I love them all. They're like my children. I can't choose a favorite. Well, I can. I have a favorite child, but don't tell them.
Hey, what's your name?
Jonathan Jackson.
Hi.
For beginning voice actors, are there any platforms that you recommend?
Platforms for?
Like for getting your voice out there, for getting your portfolio out there, applying for jobs.
Well, those are two different questions. If you're a beginning voice actor, you're not ready to put yourself out there yet. A lot of people think that, I've got a good voice, I can do some impressions and stuff, so I'm going to put myself out there. You do that before you're ready, and they will remember that. They won't remember that you're a great actor or that you're fun to work with. They will just remember, oh, this person's not ready. So get yourself ready first. Once you do, if you've been doing it for a while, you've got some chops, if you can do maybe even like 10 or 15 characters, not voices, characters, where you can embody those characters fully and sustain them for 4 hours at a time, then you're ready to start putting yourself out there. And to start putting yourself out there depends on what you want to do. If you want to do audiobooks, if you want to do video games, if you want to do animation, if you want to do instructional video, promos, there's a bazillion different things that you could do. So you have to sort of choose one in the beginning, have a couple other ones that are sort of on the side that you're working on, and then start focusing on putting yourself out there. So the answer to that question is so voluminous, I could do an entire hour on that alone. But yeah, just don't try to put yourself out there before you've actually got the skill set to support it. And that includes microphone techniques, so you don't go like that and smash everybody's ears. Or they can't hear you at all because you're speaking over there. So there's a lot of things to learn.
Hey, what's your name? What is your question?
My name's Eric.
Hi, Eric.
My question is, with all the roles you've done over the years, have you ever gone into the booth and maybe like sometimes another character come out, like you go in for Dempsey, for example, and then like Wolverine comes out?
That used to happen a lot in the old days. In fact, I've told this story before, so if you've heard it, go back to sleep. But there was a time when I was doing a lot of Wolverine for games in the mornings, and then in the afternoons I was working on Digimon. And there was this one day in particular that I remember that, all day I'd been doing this kind of voice in the morning and screaming and shouting and tearing things apart. And in the afternoon I had to do this voice for Digimon. And so to get to that, I actually had to go up to the microphone and I had to kind of find it by going up the scale as notes. And so I always equate voice acting to being a musical thing, because language is musical. So I kind of had to go up to the microphone and kind of go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Finally I got there, and it worked. I used to have to stretch for that. Now I can actually feel it in my throat before it comes out. That muscle memory lodges in the throat and the brain at the same time, so I can pull them out like that. So if I don't remember something that I haven't worked on for a long time, if they play me a 5-second clip of that character, instantly clicks in and I go right back to it, including dialects. And that's really about training the ear too, which is another thing that you can learn at bloomboxstudios.com. It's voice acting. A lot of voice acting is listening, so that really helps that.
That's a great question. Thank you.
Great question, yeah.
What's coming up? Anything on the pipeline that you're allowed to share with us?
Well, I just heard Friday that we were allowed to say that I am in the new Call of Duty Black Ops 7 zombies. Yep, as Tank Dempsey. Gonna smash some gut bags again. And unfortunately, Rick Toffin's there too, so I gotta deal with him. I think that's the only thing I can talk about, other than Toonami is still on every Saturday night on Adult Swim. Yep, and thank you for that. And I've got probably 20 projects that are going to be coming out either later this year or early next year. I'm not allowed to talk about any of them, but when I do, you'll see it all over my socials.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
One final question. You want to take a picture with this wonderful audience?
I absolutely would.
All right, everybody, come up towards the stage. Not on the stage. Come up towards the stage, take a picture of Steve and all of you. And after this, he will be heading back to his table for a final round before we conclude today. So, that's right.